Hello everyone, today we are going to see chapter 5 of science, that is conservation of plants and animals. In this chapter we are going to see what is conservation and how we can do to protect the plants and animals. So let's start. Deforestation. It is cutting down of trees on wide area and using that land for other purposes. In this picture you can see lots of trees had been cut down. The forest area is being cleared for some purposes. Now the deforestation causes. It can be of two types, either the man-made causes caused by humans or the natural causes. If we look at the man-made causes like procuring land for cultivation, building houses and factories for making furniture using wood as a fuel, construction of dams, making roads, coal mining, matchstick making, paper making. And if you go see the natural causes, it is forest fires and severe drought. The concept will be more clear to you if you look at these pictures, that is land for cultivation, building houses and factories, furnitures, constructing dams, making roads, making paper, matchstick making, coal mining, severe drought and forest fires. This severe drought and forest fires both are the natural causes of deforestation. Now effects of deforestation. The trees are being cut down, so there will be some effects. The first one is global warming. It occurs when the carbon dioxide and other pollutants like methane, nitrous oxide, etc. they collect in the atmosphere and traps the heat rays reflected by the earth. In this picture you can see the sun is present. The rays of the sun, it is falling on the surface of the earth during the daytime. During day, the sun rays falls through the atmosphere, warming the earth's surface. And at the night time, as the earth's surface cools down, emitting infrared radiations, some of the radiation passes through the atmosphere, some is absorbed and re-emitted in all the directions by the greenhouse gas molecules. You can see the rays are coming during the daytime, during the night time as the earth's surface cools down. Some of the radiations, they are absorbed by the gases present in the atmosphere and some are emitted back into the space, and this leads to the warming of the earth's surface. Now effects of global warming. As the temperature of the earth's atmosphere is increased, the effects are water cycle is disturbed. As the temperature is increased, there is increased evaporation. More frequent and intense storms can take place, increased risk of flooding. Areas away from the storm tracks experiences reduced rainfall and increased risk of drought. Birds and animals, they become homeless as their habitat is lost. And also the melting of glaciers takes place. Changes in soil properties. The loss of top layer of soil leading to soil erosion, color of the soil fades away, soil becomes less fertile and gets dried up. Fertile land gets converted into deserts, decrease in water holding capacity of the soil, movement of water from the soil surface into the ground is reduced as the number of trees are being reduced. So, there are chances that floods may occur. Also, the level of underground water decreases. You can see in this picture the birds are dying due to global warming and there is habitat loss. They do not have the place to live. Decrease in underground water, ozone depletion, melting of glaciers, and the drought condition. Flora and fauna. This is the flora and here it is a fauna. The plants found in a particular area, example like sal, trees there, teak, mango tree, jamun tree, etc. And fauna is the animals found in a particular area like deer, cheetah, leopard, lion, parrots, etc. Okay, so flora and fauna, they are found in a particular area. Now biosphere. Bio means life and sphere means region around the planet. the part of earth in which living organisms exist or that supports life. It is the narrow zone where we find land, water, and air together, which contains all forms of life. Here in this picture, you can see the lithosphere, the land where the organisms, the terrestrial organisms survive, then the hydrosphere where the aquatic organisms survive, and the atmosphere where the the birds are present in this atmosphere. So everywhere the life is possible, whether it is air, water, or the air, and this makes what that is the biosphere. Bio means life, wherever the life is possible, and sphere means the region around the planet. So it is the biosphere. Now, biodiversity. Biodiversity is all the different kinds of life found in one area. The variety of animals, plants, fungi, and even microorganisms like bacteria. The different types of biodiversity are genetic diversity, diversity of genes within a species. Species, if I give an example of a dog. Now, in dog species, we can see that there are varieties of dogs depending on their color. Some may be black, some may be brown, some may be having the white patches, some may be white color, and their size is also different. Some may be of small size, some may be of big size. So, that diversity, the variations are there just because of the genes present in them. Next, we have the species diversity, the diversity among species, different species in an ecosystem. Like the butterflies, it is one of the species. This crocodile, which is there, it is another species. So, this is called species diversity. Ecosystem diversity, diversity of a habitat in a given unit area. Ecosystem, it is related to the habitat, the diversity in the habitats. Now see what is ecosystem. It is a system which is consisting of biotic components, the living things, and the abiotic components, that is the non-living things. Living things include producers, that is the plants, consumers, that is humans or the animals, and decomposers, that is the microbes. Abiotic components, non-living things, it includes air, water, wind, soil, temperature, and rainfall. Now, genetic diversity. It indicates a genetic variation of different individuals within the same species. A large genetic variation can be seen in dog species, such as differences in their color, texture, height, etc., depending on the environment and the genetic makeup. Species diversity. Species is a group of population which is capable of interbreeding. Members of a species can reproduce fertile offspring only with the members of their own species and not with the other species. It includes bacteria, protozoa, fungi, flowering plants, ants, birds, elephants, whales, etc. Ecosystem diversity, as you had already seen, it addresses the combined characteristics of biotic and abiotic components. Ecosystem diversity is the variation in the ecosystem found in a region or whole planet. It includes variations in both terrestrial, aquatic ecosystems such as deserts, forests, grasslands, wetlands, and oceans. Now coming to the conservation of forest and wildlife. Till now we had seen the deforestation, what are the effects of that, what are the causes of that. Now we will see the conservation, how we can conserve our forest and also our wildlife. For protection of flora and fauna, that is the plants and animals and their habitats, they are protected areas are made. They are wildlife sanctuaries, national park, and biosphere reserve. Now, biosphere reserve, what is that? Let's see. Large areas of protected land for conservation of wildlife, plants, and animals, resources, and the traditional life of tribals living in that area. There are 3 zones of biosphere reserve. You can see in this picture transition zone, buffer zone, and the core zone. Now in the transition zone, this orange color which is there, you can see this magnifying glass. It indicates the research. This book, it indicates education. This house, it indicates the human settlement. This indicates the tourism, people taking their cameras, and again the human settlement. So in the transition zone, you can see the human activities are being allowed. People are coming for tourism, research purpose, educational research purpose, and same way in the buffer zone also the same things are present. But the difference is that in the buffer zone, limited quantity of people are allowed, not everyone are allowed. And in the core zone, there is no human activity at all. In the core zone, in the center part of the biosphere reserve, the species are being protected. Now, if you look at the differences between the wildlife sanctuary, national parks, and biosphere reserve, we see that wildlife sanctuary areas where animals and their habitats are protected. National park is what? Areas where flora, fauna, landscape, as well as the historic objects of the whole ecosystem is protected. And biosphere reserve is large areas of protected land for conservation of wildlife, plants and animal resources, and the traditional life of tribals living in that area. In wildlife sanctuary, the human activities such as grazing by the livestock, collecting the medicinal plants, firewood, etc. are allowed. Human activities are not allowed at all in the national parks, whereas in biosphere reserve there are three areas, that is core zone, buffer zone and the transition zone. Human activity is allowed in the buffer and the transition areas. Now, wildlife sanctuary, it can be owned by the government or the private agency. It is owned by the government, and biosphere reserve is also owned by the government. Examples, if we look for the wildlife sanctuary, that is Bori Wildlife Sanctuary, and next is Pachmarhi Wildlife Sanctuary. National parks, if we look, that is Satpura National Park, and biosphere reserve, it includes Pachmarhi Biosphere Reserve, and it consists of both 2 wildlife sanctuary and 1 national park. Endemic species. Endemic species are those that are found in just one region and nowhere else in the world. A particular type of plant or animal may be endemic to a zone, a state, or a country. You can look at the example like Indian bison, Indian giant squirrel, flying squirrel. They are just found in one region and nowhere else in the world. Endangered species. Endangered species are those whose numbers are diminishing to a level that they might face the extinction. The numbers are being decreased. They are in very less amount. Example is like Barasingha is there, wild buffalo is there, and many more. Extinct species. Extinct species are those which have completely disappeared from the earth, like the dinosaurs and dodo. Dodo is a type of bird. They have completely disappeared from the earth. Red Data Book. It is the record of all the endangered plants and animals. All the plants and animals which are in danger, the records are being mentioned in this Red Data Book. It can be for the animals, for the butterflies, for Indian mammals, or the plants. For each and every species, the Red Data Book is mentioned. The Red Data Book is maintained. Then next topic is migration. Migration is defined as the movement from one country, place, or locality to another. It is the phenomenon of movement of a species from its own habitat to some other habitat for a particular time period. Every year for a specific purpose like breeding. Example, you can see this is the Siberian crane. Siberian cranes come from Siberia to places like Bharatpur in Rajasthan because Siberia has an extreme cold climate as it is located near the poles and they cannot survive in such a cold climate. Next, it is recycling of paper. It is the process by which waste paper is turned into new paper products without harming the trees. It takes 17 full grown trees to make 1 ton of paper. Therefore, we should save paper. Paper can be recycled 5 to 7 times for use. And what are the advantages? Let's see. Forest trees are saved from being cut down. Water used in the manufacture of paper is saved. Energy in the form of electricity needed for manufacturing paper is saved. The amount of harmful chemicals used in paper making is also saved. Reforestation. Reforestation means it is the process in which the trees are planted again in an area where the deforestation took place, where the large number of trees were being cut down, again planting the trees in those areas. The planted trees should be of the same species which were found in that forest. We should plant as many trees as we cut. Reforestation can take place naturally also. If the deforested area is left undisturbed, it reestablishes itself. In this, there is no role of human beings. In India, we have the Forest Conservation Act, which aims at the preservation and conservation of natural forest and meeting the basic needs of the people living in those forests. Thank you.